So today I wanted to try something a little bit different. With Transformers Beast Wars, I'm going to be analyzing and correlating it with BNA and Beastars because after finishing both shows, they just, for some very odd reason, feel very similar. If you haven't watched any of these three shows, you have to at least have watched entirely two of these shows for it to make sense. And there's not really going to be much of Beast Machines in Beast Wars Neo and Beast Wars 2 because I'm only on Beast Wars 2 and I haven't really finished it that much yet. I'm only on like episode 12. And I'm just going to read them all out loud. So first we got Beast Wars. Actually, wait, now. Let's start with the smallest one. All of them. Anime. Yeah, Beast Wars got Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo as the anime. BNA is an anime, and Beastars is an anime. Similar episodes and scenes. There's a lot of them. And some of them we're going to go over on this list. I didn't want to include all of them that were similar because there was just so many of them. Racial conflict. There's a lot of that in BNA and Beastars. Not much in Beast Wars, but you can sense that it's there. The Maximals are the descendants of the Autobots, and the Predacons are the descendants of the Decepticons. They're not just a faction. And one of Rat Trap's quotes for, I think it was only in Season 1 and 2, when he was referring to Dinobot because he's a traitor to the Predacons, was once a Pred, always a Pred. And comics. I was actually surprised to find out that BNA actually had comics. I knew Beastars did, and I knew Beast Wars did, and I'm going to get into that one too. But I didn't know BNA actually had comics. But apparently it does. Similar wolf characters. I wouldn't count Noble Savage from Beast Machines because he's Noble Savage. From what I heard, he's Megatron, but I haven't actually got there yet. But you got Silverbolt in Beast Wars. And you got, what's his name? Shiro Ogami in BNA, and you got Lego Shi in Beastars. And there's more like Wolfang. This guy right here, Wolfang. But I'm not going to count him because his character isn't as similar. And I don't know about his character that much. Anyways, let's start going from Beast Wars and BNA. Or we can just start however. So, ancestors are massive for Beast Wars, which correlates onto Beastars. Ancestors are massive, yeah. In Beastars, they got, their ancestors are T-Rexes. And I already said it about Beast Wars, what their ancestors were. It was for the Maximals, the Autobots, and the Predacons, the Decepticons. Also for Beast Wars, every character almost can be repurposed properly as a Beast War character. This is absolutely true. If you look at Transmetal Ramulus, the longer I look at it, the longer that I think that it's actually Pino from Beastars. And another one that, is it on here? No, I don't think it's on here. But Polar Claw, which I don't have complete, but I have him right here, the original Polar Claw. And his only figure, his only good one, this right here. There's a polar bear in Beastars named Riz. And he's a lot like him. He's kind of savage in nature, both of them. And not just that, but his repaints, Polar Claw's repaints, he has two of them, are also the same color as Riz's friends. And they all share the similar shape. They aren't retools, they're just straight repaints. One of them was limited to like 300 or 600 pieces. I'm pretty sure it was Barbarian. And there's like a ton of other characters. We're going to go over another in the list, or two or three others. Predacon instincts and Maximals and animal instincts correlates to carnivore instincts. Now in Beastars, the carnivores and herbivores are a lot like how the food chain works in real life. How the carnivore will eat the herbivore and stuff like that. But it's a lot more ferocious and brutal than the real world. And for the carnivore instincts, it's seen as negative. They're seen as bad or something like that. Like a big no-no. And that's their instincts are very similar to the Predacon instincts. About treachery and betrayal and stuff like that. And also as well the Maximal instincts too. Like for an example, what's his name from Beast Wars 2? Bighorn. He gets mad, whenever he sees the color red. There was an entire episode about it. And stuff like that. He's like Ironhide in a way, or somehow. he gets mad about stuff for like no reason sometimes, like the auto rollers, because they're the villain. And also animal instincts. These guys are animals, they're carnivores. There was an episode, I think it was called Call of the Wild. It was on the tail end of season 1 of Beast Wars, where all the beasts accidentally stayed in their beast mode for too long. And one of them, Dinobot, was chasing Rat Trap very similarly. Oh, and not just that, they can actually cannibalize and eat each other. I wouldn't really say cannibalize, but they do actually eat each other in the show. I don't know if it's in the other ones, but it can happen in Beast Wars, the original one. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, Viacon Souls, the one I passed right up here, which correlates all the way down here to the angel machines function like arachnoids and Viacons for BNA. That's actually true. The angel machine is something that carries the Nervousal syndrome, which like mutates characters into like these zombies or something like that. And they function a lot like the Viacon souls. There's just something about the way that they operate, and they just move around with their treads and all, similar to Tankor. And I'm pretty sure Tankor has his own drones. If I'm right, every single Beast Machine Viacon has a drone. Like, for an example, let me pull him off the shelf, the only Beast Machine character I got. What's his name? Not Silverbolt. Yeah, but this is technically Silverbolt's soul inside of there. This is Jetstorm. He has the Sonic Jet Troop. And they all look alike. Not just that, but I also mentioned arachnoids. Arachnoids are these things developed by tarantulas. And these things awfully do act like angel machines. A lot. Like they're just carrying bodies in the show. While the arachnoids, they were carrying Ravage's body. One of them knocked over his head in the Agenda Part 3, I think it was. And there's another one we can kind of put in there, but I didn't really put it in there. The side would be... Actually, wait. No, that's on the back. We'll get to that later. What else we got? Silverbolt correlates to Beastars Lego sheet. The more that I think about it, the more that these two characters actually turn out to be one. Except for the fact that they're like... Actually, wait, now. Hold on, my bad. Fusers, I skipped that one. To hybrids. There's only 2 hybrids that we know of in Beastars. And one is Melon, a villain, and the other is Legoshi, the main character. And it turns out that Silverbolt is a fuser. It's kind of like a Transformers version of a Beast War hybrid, where he's a combination of a wolf and some sort of falcon or hawk. I don't know. And then you got Melon, the deer-looking guy. He's like I don't know what he's a combination of. As for Legacy, though, he's a combination of a lizard and a wolf. But something that I did see, is it on there? No, it isn't on there, but Melon is like psychopathic. Similarly to Quickstrike. And Quickstrike is just as psychopathic. He's always just going in first and just wanting to kill everybody just because he likes it. Very, very, very similar to Melon. Anyways, Silverbolt to Legoshi. Silverbolt and Legoshi gotta be like the same characters, as I was saying. Because, I mean, first of all, they're both hybrids. 1. Second of all, they're both noble wolf characters. It mentions it, I mentioned it at the beginning, right down here. How all of them had similar wolf characters. Not just that, but like they got the same fur color. They got everything to be the same and all. There's just something about them. Like you'd be able to see it if you watch both shows. Pods and student IDs. Yeah, and like almost every single Beastars episode. Actually, no, I think it was only for season 1. They were revealing student IDs. And sometimes in Beast Wars, a pod will fall from the sky that was contained on the Maximal ship, the Axelon. It could be anything, like the Transmutate or Rampage. And they get revealed similar... The characters get revealed similar like that. They just come out of their pods, and the Predacons and Maximals gotta go chase after them. As for the student IDs, they don't really do that. It more so just explains who the character is in just a quick bio or something. Just a little bit of facts. ghosts. Now, this one's very, very odd. Now, ghosts, there's only one ghost in Beast Wars, and there's no ghost in BNA. There's only one ghost in Beastars. The only ghost in Beast Wars is Starscream's ghost. It happens as well on, like, Call of the Wild on the tail end of Beast Wars Season 1. I think it's right before Other Voices Part 1 or Visitors. The 2-part episode at the end, right before. It's called Possession. And Starscream comes back as a ghost similar to how he did in G1, and he possesses Waspinator. And him being a ghost, just being a ghost, and they're also only just being one ghost, is very similar to the time that in Beastars, Legoshi was able to see his mom. Like, actually, it wasn't like an illusion or delusion or anything like that. He was actually, for some reason, able to see his mom and see into the afterlife or whatever. And just a quick glimpse at her. And I can't really go in depth on how she died, but it's just weird that both shows as well feature a ghost. Now for myths. This one's supposed to correlate to BNA. So the myths are like Unicron and all. Unicron appears in that 2-part episode at the end of Beast Wars. And we're not really sure if another alien race, the Vok, built him. They didn't really go in depth, or if it actually was Unicron. I'm pretty sure it was an alien race, though. The other alien race. The Vok. And in BNA, they got their own myth, the Silver Wolf. It just so happens that both of these myths are also gods. The Silver Wolf is this protector of the Beastmen in BNA. And it turns out it's actually Shiro Ogami, who's one of the main characters, who's also the Silver Wolf. And another thing that I think is accurate about what I just said is the fact that Beastmen, there are Beast people in Transformers. I think they were introduced in the Headmasters. And they as well are very, very similar to the Beastmen in BNA in the way that they're shaped and all. But I don't really know much about them because I don't like G1 that much. What else we got? Tigatron's beliefs to Raccoon Michiru and her beliefs. Yeah, what that is basically is there was an episode where there was a scene where Michiru thought she was a raccoon. Turns out she was actually a tanuki. She wanted to be. She then demanded that she wanted to be a raccoon as if there's some way to change it. It's very similar to Tigatron's beliefs. How after he crashed and got stored in his pod, how he didn't remember who he was, and he actually thought he was a mountain lion. Unironically, he even had a friend who was a mountain lion right after escaping the pod. What else we got? Alright, I think I got it set. They literally transform just like in Beast Wars. Yeah, in BNA they got they can just transform or beast form it into something else. Shiro and Alan are Depth Charge and Rampage. That's very accurate, actually. Shiro is a good guy. And it turns out he's insanely overpowered because he's a god. He's also very blue. Just like Depth Charge. I was going to make something on how the Cyber Shark was similar to his pet bird Kuro, but I can't really see the similarity. It feels too much of an extent. And Alan being Rampage, he may also be another character, and it completely erased the fact that he was like Rampage, that I'll explain in a little bit. But it just feels weird that Depth Charge's Rampage, sorry, Depth Charge's nemesis is Rampage, and he will do anything to kill him, kind of similar to how Shiro would do it to Alan. And it turns out Alan's also some sort of god or something like that. A antithesis to Shiro. Very, very similar. You can see what I'm talking about. Just like in the anime, Hinrad is also a tanuki like Michiru. Okay, that comes from Beast Wars Neo, actually. I haven't watched it, but there's a transformer called Hinlad, and he turns into this tanuki wall clock, just like Michiru. Just like Michiru. Alan's beast form looks like Beast Wars Bruticus. Yeah, it does. Beast Wars Bruticus is actually more of a long story short type thing that I can describe about who he even is. Beast Wars Bruticus is a prison warden. I think it's on Cybertron or something like that. But anyways, what he turns into is something Cerberus looking that has 3 heads. And that's exactly what Alan turns into. Something that has 3 heads that looks like Cerberus. Nervasal syndrome to Kynes. Actually, I don't know why I did that. That don't count. But the Nervasal syndrome, I did connect it to the Viacon souls and the transmetals. Yeah. So basically, for the transmetals, it's like they would get an upgrade. Getting the Nervasal syndrome is like, it's like the Walking Dead, but like it's absolutely horrible, way worse. You don't even got a shot against them. Instead of getting like an upgrade, like a superpower or something like that with the transmetals, they get an upgrade, but they turn evil. And for the Viacon souls, it's kind of similar too, because like a person would get injected with the Nervasal syndrome, and then they would look completely different afterwards, just like the Viacons. How like their souls were combined into the Viacon bodies, and they became that. Backstories of War. I thought I remembered there was a backstory of War in Beast Wars, but I can't really think of one. However, there is actually, I did see a backstory of War in Beast Wars 2, and they're way more detrimental and far more horrible. There was, in BNA, it talks about like the backstory of the Silver Wolf, how like humans and the Beastmen lived in harmony until one day an army of humans just came down and just attacked the city of Nervasal and destroyed everything. And that seems very, very similar to the time when they were just showing all the destruction and war in all of the Beast Wars 2 Cybertron scenes. And in one of them scenes, Leo Convoy sacrifices his own energy and stuff to save Apache. And it was like very sad and depressing. What else we got? One, two, three, 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3 on that side. 1, 2, 3 on this side. I mean, in the middle. Alright, we're almost done the front. So, as well for the front, we got Hiroma Yaba. That's the guy who turned into a rhino in Beastars. I mean, not Beastars, BNA. It's very confusing because they all start with the letter B, and they sound alike. He's the guy in BNA that turned into a rhino. But one time, nearing the end of the series, he got the Nervasal syndrome, and he became like this hulked up looking rhino or something like that, which is very similar to the time that Megatron was able to reprogram Rhinox into a Predacon, and he absolutely caused havoc, not just, well, I wouldn't say for the Maximals because we never really saw that, but he caused a ton of havoc for the Predacons that not even Megatron was strong enough for him. What else we got? Characters' designs on Beastmen. And that correlates to fusers. Yeah. It's because their beast form is also kind of like, it's kind of like a hybridish design. Very similar to the fusors. How they're like 2 in 1 almost. What else? Alan equals Tarantulas. This one actually surprised me and was very accurate. He's more like Tarantulas than he is Rampage. And why's that? Because in the medical center, which he was like controlling and all, he developed the Nervasal syndrome to turn people into like these zombies and stuff like that. Very similar to all the drones and stuff that Tarantulas has. Matter of fact, he manufactures pretty much all the drones, such as the arachnoids and stuff like that. And not just that, but they're both like evil and psychopathic in a way. Beast Hunters die similar to Inferno and Quickstrike. Did you even hear that? I said Beast Hunters. This has nothing to do with Beast Wars, but however, Transformers Prime has Predacons in it. There is a toy line called Beast Hunters. They have a movie called Beast Hunters, and I'm pretty sure a part of the original show is called Beast Hunters. Matter of fact, I even got a Beast Hunter figure right here. Matter of fact, I got another. Yeah, basically it's kind of like these Starscream right here is like a hybrid fusion between like a hawk or some bird and a jet or something like that. And this guy's just a straight up Predacon, just a straight beast. He's an Insecticon. That's the similarity between the word Beast Hunters being spoken. And that's the name of the gang that was targeting Michiru in the very first episode, and they tried to kill her. And they die similar to Inferno and Quickstrike. The reason I say that is because in, what was it? Nemesis Part 2, the very last episode of Beast Wars in Season 3, Inferno and Quickstrike are on the ground begging for mercy that because Megatron has full power and he doesn't care about using the Nemesis's like ginormous ray to destroy everything and destroy the Ark and all. And in that episode, or before that episode, they were also targeting a bunch of anthropoids. In other words, I wouldn't say anthropoids, but cavemen. They were targeting a bunch of cavemen, which in the future would become humans. They all died to them. Well, I wouldn't say all, but both of them died. And they took their faces as well. It's kind of like a reverse situation, the way that Inferno and Quickstrike die, similar to how the Beast Hunters die. It's kind of like a reverse situation going on. And what else do we got on this side? Ramhorn equals Lego She's pet. Now, I know in the beginning, I kind of categorized that into one thing, but Ramhorn just felt very distinct and odd. Ramhorn is a general in Beast Wars. He appears only in one episode with the other two generals, C-Clamp and Cicada Con. And they're going to send out their agent, which is Ravage, to go see what's up with the Predacons and Maximals. Anyways, Ramhorn doesn't ever appear in this series ever again, just for like a minute or two or three. And his figure gives him a body of a Hercules beetle, I'm pretty sure it is, which is the same beetle that Lego She has, at least the same shape. They both as well feature dark colors. What else here? Tem's murder to Dinobot's clone. Yeah, so what happened is not Polar Claw, just that they're very similar. Riz ate Tem because he loved him so much as a friend. And there's an episode in Beast Wars Season 1 where Dinobot had a clone. He ate that clone. And here's the thing, not just did they both get eaten, but both of them were given honor. Both of them were given honor before they were killed. And another thing, Cons and Power Surge. The episode Power Surge, I'm pretty sure it's episode 6 of Beast Wars Season 1. It features Pterosaur finding this Energon on a floating island that's so powerful, it could kill Megatron. And he becomes so power-hungry about it. Similar to how Cons is supposed to, like, it's kind of like radioactive material or something like that for carnivores and Beastars. So that they can just start, like, rampaging and stuff like that. Anyways, to the back. The back actually has some surprising facts. A lot of the stuff that I've probably said probably isn't even going to get through, but it does make sense. Let's see. Michiru appears in God Neptune Comic 2. That's a really good one. God Neptune Comic 2, I'm pretty sure, is a Generation Selects comic, but really all you gotta do is just search up God Neptune Comic 2 on Google and find like a panel, because Michiru Kagamori literally appears in one of the panels. I'm not even kidding. I'm being so serious when I say this. She actually appears in one of the panels. I think it's behind the Seacon Turtler. Trigger made a Transformer animation. Another thing to support that they're just so correlated and close to each other is that Trigger a few months ago made a Transformer animation, which is the same studio that made BNA. What else we got? Michiru's tail to Bighorn's tail. Yeah, they both have a power-up. Michiru's tail can become a beanbag to safety her landing and cushion it. And Bighorn's tail, when it was pulled in one of the episodes, or, well, another episode, it actually has he gets his tail pulled and a missile comes out of his mouth. I'm not kidding. That's actually what happens. What else we got? Regeneration and regeneration. Yeah, there's regeneration in Beast Wars and in BNA. We see Shiro Ogami get shot by bullets and stuff like that, and he heals up like nothing happened. In Beast Wars, we see Rampage, because Rampage's spark can't be destroyed whatsoever. We see him get attacked, and it's like nothing towards him. He can feel it, but it's still like nothing towards him. And he just heals back up immediately or something. Giuliano Flip equals Rhinox. Yeah, that guy was the mob boss in BNA. And it's weird because he has a similar build to Rhinox. Not just that, but there is a... I remember precisely that there was a moment in BNA where he was wielding 2 giant rocket launchers, similar to Rhinox's weapon. What's his weapon? Dual Gatling Guns of Doom. That's his weapon. If you go on the TF Wiki, it'll even say it there. Alan's gun to Scorponok Cyber Bee. I said we would talk about the Cyber Bee later. And the scene where Alan uses a gun on Shiro Ogami is very similar to Scorponok's Cyber Bee. Basically, what happens is the Cyber Bee... matter of fact, I got one. This is the Cyber Bee. And basically what it would do is it would get onto the chest of any... or back or anywhere. Any, like, mid-spot of a Beast War character or a Transformer, and it would suck your energy out, just like the syringe that was ammunition for Alan's gun. I'm pretty sure the nervous cell syndrome was inside of that. And if you try to take the Cyber Bee off, it'll explode, and it will kill everybody else. It's like a grenade that takes your life or something like that that's also attached to you. I find that very... And another thing, too, Michiru and Shiro Ogami were the only people at the scene. And Shiro got caught. You can kind of say that he's kind of like Optimus Primal and Michiru's like Dinobot in the scene where Scorponok as well is the only villain in the way and uses his Cyber Bee the same way that Alan's the only villain in the way in that scene. What else we got on here? We got Nazuna being experimented on and her kidnapping to transmembrane Black Arachnia and her kidnapping. Yeah, but what happened was, let's talk about the kidnapping part first. In season 1 of Beast Wars, I think it was episode 9, Black Arachnia was reprogrammed as a Predacon. Very similar to the way that Nazuna was just kidnapped in one of Michiru's, no, not backstories. Yeah, whatever, just backstory. In one of Michiru's backstories, where we see her with her friend, Nazuna, we see her get kidnapped by a van. Very similar to and then she gets experimented on. And she wants the experiment to be done to her, to give her similar powers to replicate that ability similar to the Silver Wolf. Which is very similar to Transmetal Black Arachnia. Why? Because both of these characters wanted these upgrades. Alan's control on his drones. Yeah, there was to Megatron... Alan's control on his drones to Megatron, Apollo, and the Nemesis. Yeah, there's just something weird about those scenes. They just feel so similar. It happens specifically at the end of episode... somewhere in episode 12, where he's just standing on a platform with a control in front of him, a control panel that activates all these weapon-like machines. Very similar to Megatron Pilot and the Nemesis, with all the rockets and the beams and everything. What else we got on here? We got Silverbolt and Black Arachnia and Legoshi and Haru. Both of these characters are in relationships. It's more accurate, once again, because Silverbolt is very similar to Legoshi we went over. What else we got? Cheetor resistant in Feral Scream 2. Legoshi resistant against Seven. Yeah, Seven's Legoshi's neighbor. And in question, Cheetor resistant in Feral Scream Part 2. Basically, he became like a werewolf and he became he didn't even know who he was. It was just nuts. And he had to resist a little bit to attack Rat Trap, who just went to check up on him because he heard some funny noise, which was him turning into a werewolf or a werecat or something like that. Which is very similar to Legoshi resistant against Seven because he was resistant not to eat her. Very similar. Not just that, but both Seven and Rat Trap are very similarly sized. And same thing with Cheetor and Legoshi. What else? Legoshi's voice actor did Backtrack and Glacius. In case you don't know who Backtrack and Glacius are, they're two robot in disguise characters. I'm not kidding, that actually happened. You can go search it up. And he also has a page on the TF Wiki as well. I'm not kidding about that either. And another thing too, I forgot to mention, but the Michiru appeared in God Neptune Comic 2. The TF Wiki also talks about that. But not many people actually know about this fact. Like, at all. It's very, very anonymous and mysterious. The TF Wiki mentions it under Trigger Studios page. Yeah, they have pretty much a page for anything that relates to Transformers somehow. And I guess that's pretty much it. Some good reasons about why I talked about this subject would be because what if we actually got a collab? I heard that we couldn't. I heard a rumor that it was actually because Hasbro's focusing on like older shows and stuff and movies and series. But what if we actually got like a Beastars or BNA collab? That would be like the coolest thing ever. I would absolutely buy that. I'd probably buy that faster than Beast Wars Moon. I'm not even kidding. I would absolutely want something like that in my collection. But either one would have to be a 2-pack. So let's see BNA. What should Shiro Ogami be redecoed into or retooled into? I'd probably say the Cheetor mold. That's not Cheetor, but that's Night Prowler. I mean, we could also do Leo Prime because, like, the bulky shape and all. And not just that, but, like, it would make sense because of, like, the Silver Wolf form or something like that. Or we could do Thundertron. That one also kind of works, too. I mean, look at all the blue and look how all of it, like, works. And it's as if, like, this blue right here on his chest just vibrates and radiates. And for Michiru, I'm actually not sure what we could do. Well, it kind of depends on size accuracy. They gotta be similar size. I do prefer it to be Deluxe and Voyager, but core class size, I know they don't have it anymore and they've removed it, but they can still kind of add like Micromaster Hot Rod with Star Convoy in Age of the Primes. Yeah, but Michiru could be a core class Tasmanian Kid retool, or just core class in general, and turn into a Tanuki of some sort. I don't want it to be anything like Transformers Animorphs. No, that absolutely sucked. That was horrible. It needs to be absolutely awesome. Imagine having Shiro Ogami and Michiru in your collection to team up with Optimus Prime or something like that against the Decepticons for like some stop motion or something. That'd be the absolute coolest thing ever. And actually worthy collab. Or they could do a Beastars collab. I really don't think a lot of people would prefer this one, to be honest. But they could definitely do Legoshi. But we have a Legacy United Silverbolt. So how would they really work around that? How would they like retool the wings off of him and just make him a full wolf? Or they could just use the Cheetor mold. I don't know how these two would work. They feel a little too bulky, while Legoshi is like a slender character, more skinnier, like Night Prowler. And not just that, but you can see how the gray works on Night Prowler, how it works on Legoshi as well. And he should be in a 2-pack as well. I guess he can be one guy, but he should be in a 2-pack. I'm not sure who. But they could definitely do something like that. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. But imagine if we also got a BNA Allen. I don't know what he would be, but I really don't know what he would be. That's very, very odd. And that's another thing, too, because would it be like the human form or the beast form or both of the Beastmen characters? It's very, very confusing. I don't want them to turn into a car. No, that's going to look ugly with all that car kibble on them. It reminds me of the Sonic and Tails collab that recently happened. I don't like it. It just feels weird. It looks good on Sonic, I guess, but Tails looks ugly. So, what do you think? Do you think all these similarities are right, and do you think we should actually have a collab?